So that's the simple fact of it. If they've put through the courtrooms that they could be they've obviously done that because I tried to commit suicide whilst in prison. So look, this is the simple facts. If somebody I know potentially 50 people that have been to prison. There isn't one of them that has ever said anything to me. There isn't one of them that's died. There wasn't one of them that had died at that point. So I know 50 people had gone to prison, not one of them had ever tried to commit suicide. I've gone in there, and within 18 months I tried to commit suicide, even though I've just said I'd never had any feelings of committing suicide my entire life and never had any attempts or knowledge of what that is. So whatever they've put through the system, they must have made it clear or made the insinuation that this could potentially happen. Does that make sense? So they've obviously put me through a courtroom saying this individual has got is an iris to himself and got the potential to commit suicide, otherwise they couldn't do it. So whatever they've put through the courtroom is obviously illegal because they've given me a forced suicide. They've got to have, because within 18 months I tried to commit suicide and started having serious problems. Like, it's 9 years later and I've lost every single second of every day since. So whatever information they've put through the courtroom, or this is the excuse they're using, because it's 9 years later, by the way, not 9 months. I've been finished with this sentence now 5 years and I'm still in a critical condition now. So whatever excuse or information they've used as an alibi to cost somebody every day of their life, it's not something I've given them, because I had my entire life in front of me, and that's why I'm losing every day of my life. So if they've put something, the summary is this: if they've put something through court in 2015 that the officers or the individual officers are now using against me to cost me every second of every day of my life, it's unbeknown to me because I had my entire life in front of me and I've just lost 9 years of my life. Does that make sense? So whatever information they must have put through the system is illegal, and then the officers are committing further crime because they're using it against me, even in the knowledge it's incorrect, and they're costing me every day of my life. So in other words, whatever they've put through the system, whatever they've put through courts obviously indicated this individual's capable of being a serious risk to the extent he's going to lose every second of every day of his life, which is not a decision I've made, and it doesn't play a role in my life because I've got things to do. But these officers are not wanting to account for the fact that I've got things to do. So I'm sat here in a critical condition every second of every day, and they're not wanting to account for it. So like I've said, whatever information has gone through that courtroom is illegal. And this now is taking the piss on the basis the officers are using it against me, and it's costing me every second of every day to be institutionalised. It's 9 years later and I'm 32-year-old still losing every second of every day in a critical condition. So whatever information they put in there is not only a load of shit, but the officers are milking it. They're milking whatever information's in there on the basis it's now just cost me the best years of my life. I've not concluded sexual intercourse in 7 years. I've got no relevant level of education of a GCSE or A-level standard. I've not been on holiday in nearly 20 years. I've got no mortgage, no marriage, no children. Never been in a sexual relationship. Every single day, every single second of every day since 2016 has been torture and hell, and it's now 2025. So in these 9 years, these officers should have been made aware, or should have realised whatever information they're using to commit crime against me in an institutional self is illegal. It's costing me every single day of my life. So whatever they're putting in the system and whatever's reoccurring, I can't do anything about it. It wasn't a choice I made whether I got guilty or not. They've been relativising guilty into my institutional self as though it's my problem. It's not my... A guilty plea does not make any difference in my life whether 9 years later. So me now here at 32-year-old in a critical condition does not make any difference whether I went guilty in 2015 for a crime in 2014. So if I'm in a critical condition now at 32-year-old, I'd have been in a critical condition now at 32-year-old if I'd have gone guilty for it. It wouldn't make any difference. If this is now lasting 9 years every second of every day, they're making it my problem by not going guilty. You've got no chance whatsoever. Me saying guilty or not guilty does not make any difference to my life other than the fact that the judge can take it into account. That's it. That's all that happens. And he did take it into account, and I didn't get any discounts on the sentence. That's it. That's all that happens. They might say, well, the solicitors can help you and we'll do. The fact is, I'm obliged to not listen to that, and my life doesn't change. So if I want to go not guilty for a crime, I do not have to then revise that on the basis that officers have got the that they can now commit crime against me. It doesn't impact my life whatsoever, because these officers think they can do what they want on the fact that I've gone not guilty and cost me every second every day for 9 years. Not a chance. So I went not guilty in court, and I'd have gone not guilty again. every single day. And my point is this: I do it purposely on the basis that these officers are using it as an excuse to cost me every day of my life. They think they're now entitled. I'm now 5 years off this sentence, nearly 6 years. So the sentence finished 2019, 7 years, like 6 years, nearly 7 years. So I got 5 years and I've now been gone 6 years. It ended 6 years ago, it's nearly going into 7 years. And these officers are still costing me every second of every day beyond double the sentence. So I've not only done the sentence, I've done the sentence again off it. And they're still costing me every second every day of my life, saying I should have gone guilty for it. Not a chance it cost me any day. It does not have, like I said, I'm going to summarise it right now. Whatever they've put through court has given me a forced suicide and it's illegal. Fact. I'm going to summarise it in 3 points of what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Whatever they've put through court in 2015 has given me a forced suicide. It's illegal. They didn't have sufficient evidence to give me a forced suicide, and I'm not accepting the imposition. There wasn't any evidence to say that I would have committed suicide at that point. I'd never tried to commit suicide, never had any feelings of committing suicide. B, it is now 9 years later and I'm still losing every day of my life, so it's South Yorkshire Police's issue. I'm still losing every second of every day of my life 9 years later, and it's costing me best years of my life. I can't have children, can't get married, can't do anything because they've decided that a 2-year prison sentence or a 2-year, 2-month prison sentence is going to cost me every day of my life, which is not, I don't know what that is. I'm saying you're living in a dream world if you think a 2-year sentence costs somebody 9 years of their life. It doesn't cost somebody their life beyond the sentence. And then thirdly, like I've just said, a guilty or a not guilty plea in court in 2015, this is a great factor here. A guilty plea or a not guilty plea in court in 2015, regardless whether it's right or wrong, does not play any role on somebody's life 9 years later. No, it doesn't. They're using the excuse I've not gone guilty for a crime in 2015 to now still be costing me every second of my life 9 years later. No chance, not got 9 years later. Not a chance on this planet. That's because, let me just justify what I'm saying, rationalise this now. That's because they're entitled to do what they want and nobody regulates it. They think they can do what they want and rationalise it in the system however they want. They're using a not guilty plea in court from 2015 for a crime in 2014. So this crime's from 2014. I'm now sat here 11 years later in a critical condition, losing every second of every day of my life for apparently not going guilty in court. You haven't got a fucking chance. It does not make one bit of difference whether I go not guilty or guilty for a crime. It's because they feel as that they've rationalised it by doing what they want. They've rationalised writing my life off because they're saying I haven't gone guilty. So they've used the rationalisation that I haven't gone guilty to write my life off. Right, we're going to write your life off because you haven't gone guilty, because they think they've got power there. So they're saying you've not gone guilty, so we're going to use that as an excuse to go into your life and cost you every day of your life and say you didn't go guilty. That's because they do what they want. It's illegal. Problem still persists. Critical condition, March 18th, 2025.